Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast, now in our 5th season, looking into the exciting happenings of Ipswich Town Football Club. I'm Richard Woodward and you are tuned into the Midweek show, available every week on video and audio for a sometimes irreverent but always informative hour or more of football conversation. So make your Monday, your Blunday, whenever day it is, make it a blue day. We are back and we have got two stalwarts of the podcast. We've got Mr. David Diamond. Hello, Dave.
Guy, good to see you.
And Mr. Joe Fairs. Joe, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, cheers.
Well, you were both there last night, weren't you, for this Leasing.com trophy game, which is the which is everyone's excited about, the Leasing.com trophy. So that will be the main talking point for tonight. Was there any VIP pie eating situations last night, or were you slumming it with the muggles?
Not by me. Don't know about Joe. Joe, were you?
I was there. It was roast chicken last night.
Oh, nice. Just a roast chicken or a roast chicken pie?
It was a roast chicken breast with sort of veg and dauphinoise potatoes.
Oh, League
nice.
One.
Very
Who
nice
says
too.
we're
Like
slumming it?
a bit of dauphinoise.
God, I love
Now, me and
dauphinoise.
Stat had a cheeky pint in the Greyhound. That was about it.
Very good. Well, do. Bump into Ed Sheeran, Joe, or?
No, I was a bit busy to see Ed.
Maybe next time.
It was literally sitting when we ended up sitting because we got moved a couple of times. Won't go into that, but he was sitting up in the corporate bit about. Oh man, must be about. I thought it was 10 meters. Stat thought it was closer to 8, so he was getting quite excited about it. But sadly, I think he did get a kind of a. Not a selfie, he sort of did the old one of those like that and sort of got a little bit of him in a video, but that was it. Yeah, he cleared off just after the 4th goal. I think he went massive evacuation of the box. Ed is leaving the ground.
It was if you hear this noise, it's an important announcement. Ed Sheeran's leaving the ground.
Yeah. Woo, woo, woo.
He bloody loves the Leasing.com trophy, doesn't he, old Ed?
He's all over the Leasing.com trophy.
Yeah,
he really is. And to be fair, some of the guys we saw him like looking back, obviously you do look back at half time, and one or two of the guys that were sitting just in front of the box, he was sort of posing for selfies and and that's
Darren Ambrose, Freddie Sears, and Cole Scoose got one with him, so he's working his way through the squad.
I missed that. I really did that. I missed that
on social media. You can find it. Shall we do a bit of news, gentlemen? Let's bring ourselves up to date before we crack on with Gillingham. Let's start with Joe. You can tell us or give us your thoughts about James Norwood having a bit of a jolly off to Munich. No, he's off to have surgery. We love German stuff now, so he went off to Munich to have a groin operation.
I think he's had the surgery now.
It's all sorted by the sound of it, yeah.
Well, there's an Instagram story of him rolling around, I think, Munich airport in a wheelchair at the moment. So
I was there. I love that. I'll have to find that.
He can't.
So he must have had the surgery today and is now on his way back home.
And he's and apparently, according to Stuart Taylor last night, should be good for training next week and should be good for Accrington in just under a fortnight, which is modern science, eh? Cheating friends or cheating science, which is most important. But that's impressive, isn't it? So that's
that
news,
really is a minor operation, isn't it? Christ, it's groin especially. Usually those are sort of nagging injuries that if they do go can turn into all sorts of bloody complications. So obviously he's had it for a while, carrying it and
clean it up, don't they, on some of these?
I guess so. I mean, sometimes I've known it. They turn into bloody hernias and stuff like that. So obviously it wasn't as bad. Obviously it's something that's been niggling him, but it wasn't. You'd think it was not a risk of a full blooded torn groin, which is months potentially out. So yeah.
But it's good news he's back so soon if it is the case, though, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a really dumb question. No, it's bad news that James Norwood's fit. Talking of players with groin problems, Kane Vincent-Young is in the news quite a lot, Dave, this week. So he went off at half-time, a precaution apparent against Fleetwood, and is carrying a bit of a groin problem himself, having treatment. So that's obviously a minor concern, though there appears to be options now after last night. So that's bad, but now let's have two positives so that we're in net positive mode. He is Town's Player of the Month for September, which I think we're all supportive of.
I don't think you'd disagree with that.
Also in the running for League One Player of the Month and the PFA Fan Award along with Thomas Holly. So potentially award-tastic month for Kane Vincent-Young. It's been quite a start to his Town career, isn't it?
He's been fantastic. He's really sort of hit the ground running, isn't he? You can see class. Right, the right back we haven't had since I don't know. I always go back a bit. David Wright. I mean, everyone said that. A proper right back.
Fabian Wilness.
Probably further back, Fabian Wilness, because I think Wright perhaps had his limitations going forward, where clearly this lad hasn't. I mean, if he continues his progress as he had in the first month or so, it'd be interesting to see where and when we end up end of the season, and certainly where he ends up.
Yeah, wow. Hopefully in the championship for both of us.
Well, with us, hopefully championship with us. But yeah, there is a quality player, and $500,000 at the moment looks an absolute steal, doesn't it?
Joe, he obviously went off against Fleetwood and Gwion Edwards took his place, and it was a legitimate right kind of wing back situation. Danasian, spoiler alert, played there last night. Are you, if he doesn't make it, are you comfortable with those two, or one of those two taking up his position, or is it moved back to, I don't know, a 4-4-2 and Chambers at Wolfenden ends up there? What's your thinking on there?
I think he's probably the player that's going to be the biggest drop off for who the replacement coming in for is. If we were to lose anyone now, I think sort of dropping back to Danasian or Edwards or Chambers or Wolfenden across there, that is probably the biggest drop we're going to get in terms of what he gives us, both going forwards and going backwards. He dominates that side of the pitch on his own.
Yeah. So
I agree. I'll tell you what, I know we're going to get to the Gillingham game, but Danasian looked, I know certainly second I was playing in front of us, but my bloody hell, he looked really fit last night, as if he'd sort of lost weight and looked trimmer. Looked, I wouldn't say he had an outstandingly brilliant game, but yeah,
he went off at half time, didn't he? Ill.
Yeah. Again, was there any explanation for that? Because was that
illness apparently?
Oh, illness was okay, fine. Maybe that's it. Maybe he has lost weight.
Bug, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was almost totally from when I last saw him, almost totally different body shape to him. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. Definitely, he would be a huge miss.
Another one where Stuart Taylor reckons he should be joining training next week. So fingers crossed. I think we're all in agreement that clearly deserving of any awards that he gets.
And I think going back to the groin thing, if it is just a minor niggle, then rest and treatment is the key there. So
Dr.
a blessing in disguise perhaps this week.
Yeah, wow, and we talked about it on the flagship. Calling off for the internationals seems to be a good call all around there. So, so good luck to Vincent Young in his recovery, and Nord as well. I'm trying to find a segue for this, but I can't really. Talking of people who will be sitting out a weekend action, Jack Ross has been given his P45 at Sunderland after defeat to Lincoln on Saturday, and just hours before they played their own Leasing.com trophy against Grimsby. He's been in the job, Dave, for 16 months. I've got an Opta stat for you. Of the current teams in the top 4 tiers of the English Football League, only Liverpool and Man City have lost fewer games if you ignore the playoffs.
Incredible.
I think, what's your thoughts on that? I think
there was a lot, one? Certainly last season, I know what are they this season? Are they 6th or something this season?
Yeah, only lost 2.
There's a hell of a lot of drawn games in there, clearly, isn't there?
Yeah, as was the problem last season. But the fans have kind of the playoff defeat last season was unfortunate, but they'd been moaning about these draws, and I think there was always that tension, particularly when they played us. I remember there was a lot of angst at half time, and they kind of turned it around. But Jack Ross out has been trending on Twitter pretty much most Saturdays this season, isn't it? So I guess it's not a surprise, but
that was written, and when you watch that Sunderland Netflix sort of documentary, it's not particularly stable there anyway, is it really? It really isn't. So was it a surprise 6th? Well, I don't know. Probably, that as you say, it's a culmination of what went on or what didn't happen ultimately last season. Massive. Let's face it, massive, huge club in League One. Got a bit all right playoff final. EFL Trophy final, but that's a failure. They didn't get up, did they?
Yeah, and big expectation there too. Joe, the favourites for the job at the moment with the bookies are Kevin Phillips, Mick McCarthy's there or thereabouts, Daniel Strendel, is it the Barnsley boss?
Barnsley guy, yeah.
Your thoughts on? I think on the WhatsApp group we kind of all were slightly disappointed that they hadn't hung on and given Ross a little bit longer of being middling along, so that they can keep them. Because
your new manager bounce.
Exactly right, and the squad there, Joe, is quite strong. So your thoughts on who might come in to replace him?
Well, I've just seen they've already made contact with that Daniel Stendel, apparently.
Is it Stendel? Have I added extra
Strendel. I don't actually know.
I've got Strudel in my head, that's the trouble.
The ex-Barnsley manager they've made contact with. So potentially him, but it's hard to tell. Like Sunderland are a strange club, and bearing in mind they've lost week in week out for 10 years. That turning that ship around was always going to be a massive task for him, and 85 points last season, enough for automatic promotion. Every now and again, yeah, they're 6th this year, but it's just the draws that have killed it, isn't it? And turn over the 2 years, turn 4 or 5 of those draws into wins, and they'd have been promoted last year. And I think I don't know. Paul Lambert had his comments on it today in the Scottish press, saying that he thinks he should have been given more time. So the big concern is that Sunderland have that squad, and they appoint a manager who comes in and just picks that squad up and turns it round. And I say then that's a real competitor for us, where they were never going to blow this league away under Ross. So I'd have preferred for him to stay.
But we're probably a good bet for playoffs when they're,
Yeah.
So let's we'll keep an eye on there, particularly if it's unlikely McCarthy will go there. Surely, Dave, he's got Euro 2020 qualifiers and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that would be a nice story, wouldn't it?
I can't say. No, the best story surely would be Roy Keane, wouldn't it?
Well, he's linked with Millwall.
As assistant manager to Mick McCarthy.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant. That's what we want. More touchline shenanigans.
Stoke wanted Mick, didn't they? That was in the Athletic last week. Stoke were keen on McCarthy, but his view is that he wouldn't leave Ireland before the Euros.
Yeah. No, I can't see that happening. Well, no. Interesting. Yeah, maybe the Barnsley. Yeah, the Barnsley guy. Is there any? I haven't really seen it. Is there any thought on who Barnsley might? Oh no, hang on, they're in a different league, aren't they? Sorry, carry on.
We don't have to talk about them anymore. Follow Ben Bloom for that kind of content. So, and the guess would be that Jack Ross is a shoo-in for any SPL job that comes up in the next few months. So, good luck to him. And Sunderland, take your time. Maybe take a bit of a punt on an unproven manager, and hopefully you can
promote from within.
Exactly right. Yeah, go for the cheap option. Finally, in the news. Joe, I'll come to you on this. It's about the under-23s finally getting off the mark with a win. It sounds like an exciting game, 6-3 to Bolton. And although a bit of a calamity in the last 10 minutes or so, is this Bolton under-23s? Is that anything to get excited about? Is it similar to Bolton maybe a month ago in League One?
First team.
Yeah, there wasn't. I haven't seen the Bolton team. It wasn't released anywhere today, so I'd imagine it was quite a young team because they haven't really got an under-23 squad. So maybe some of the players that played earlier in the season have dropped back down to this level. But yeah, this was 6-3 makes the game sound a lot closer than it was. All 3 of their goals from the last 10 minutes when it was
we packed up
sort of 5 or 6-0 up at that point. But Thomas Hughes made his debut last night for the first team, came on or started today and scored 2 goals, including one from just inside their half.
He specialises in that, doesn't he? Was it him who scored last season?
Yeah, against Birmingham. Yeah, from inside his own half that time. This one, he just sort of takes a touch right on the touch line and just hits it over the keeper.
Is that a piss take, Dave? That kind of goal, or is that good technique?
No, I'm all for that. No, that's certainly not a piss take at all. I'm all for goals like that. Fantastic. Yeah, bring it on. I saw him play in one of the odd games. I went to what would have been 18s last year and saw him play. He certainly got a bit about him, and he's got his sort of Grealish like socks at like half mast, hasn't he? He's got a bit of arrogance about him. Did he not go out to Bury or somewhere, Joe?
He was at. He's actually at Leicester at the moment. So
is he?
He scored for Leicester on Saturday.
Really?
But they lost. I think they're really struggling this year. Leicester.
Yeah, they've barely got a point.
Lost all their money, haven't they?
Oh yes, they lost their money. The manager's gone to Braintree. Yeah, all sorts going on there. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realise he was at Leicester. Oh, okay.
I think when you saw him, you said how he was playing sort of like a deeper midfield role when you saw him last time.
I believe he was. Yeah.
He normally plays higher up the pitch, but when he came on last night, it was in that sort of deeper midfield role, spraying the ball about. And
he's got a bit about him, I think. Yeah, he's obviously well thought of.
Joe, were there any trialists playing for us today, centre backs?
Yeah, one is from Worcester City, Amdu, but who'd previously been, I think he'd previously been at Leicester at some point maybe, and the other one is Amaku, I think was at. I'm sort of doing myself. I'm sort of lining up some name tags. I don't know, but he'd been released by Watford in the summer. I think he'd spent time at Southend in pre-season, didn't win a deal. But we are short on centre halves in the underage squads. So in the sort of under 18s we're fine, but in the under 23s there isn't really anyone there. So we seem to have had a different trialist in every week. There, we've had that Heaven from Watford again, I think, as well. So we've had a lot of centre-back trialists, but none of them are sort of making the grade at the moment.
Stepping up.
Well, keep that thought in terms of centre-back options. So let's bring it right up to date. Let's head to Tuesday night in Gillingham in the Leasing.com Trophy. So were you guys keeping a keen eye on the touchline before kickoff? There was a bit of a kind of dampening down of the angst between Steve Evans, certainly on his part, from Lambert from last time around. I don't think there was handshakes.
Evans came out quite early. He seemed, well, I say quite early, a good minute or 2 minutes before Lambert, and there was clearly no. Then I sort of didn't really notice, but I gather there was no handshake. Certainly before the game.
Steve Evans quite a while to walk anyway, Dave. So
it's a big unit. Isn't it?
I forgot to look. I forgot to look at the start of the game, but at the end of the game, Lambert sort of just walks across, shakes the fourth official's hand, and then just sort of walks straight onto the pitch. Made no attempt to get across to Evans.
I know we'll get to it, but did we really do that joining of hands at the end of the game last night? Did that really happen?
Yeah. So I don't know whether this is
be
now
happening at the Blue Monday live show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair enough. That's totally fair enough.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
I'll be disappointed.
Stuart Taylor was really keen to make everyone do it. The players kept looking around, and you could see him, and he was like pointing there, and doing this and hands and that. And he was really making them do it. I think they still think they're quite embarrassed by it when they have to do it. But Taylor was insistent on it.
Okay.
I think there's a little bit of trolling in there because I think we did it deliberate. Because Chambers did a fist bump, and then we did the kind of arms holding thing. And Joey Barton obviously kicked off about it on Saturday, so I can kind of understand doing it just to wind him up. And maybe
absolutely.
It was a wind up for Steve Evans as well, because I don't think he particularly liked it.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe it was a bit of that, yeah.
But it's a bit of a siege mentality, we're kind of, I don't know. It will come back to honest, maybe. Let's talk about proper stuff, shall we? Let's talk about personnel. I'll start with Gillingham, who I think were in a 4-4-1-1 formation last night. I'll pick out some kind of key bits of pieces of information. 17-year-old in goal. Walsh, I want to say Joe Walsh, but I think he's a guitarist in Eagles.
It was Joe Walsh.
I think his name was Joe Walsh.
Excellent. Ben Pringle also made his way in the lineup, Ipswich Town Loney. And Mandron, I want to call out Mandron because he's ex-Colu. And my brother-in-law, who's a Colu fan, was on the fence about his qualities. I think he wasn't surprised when I texted him last night and said he scored an own goal for us. And Stuart O'Keefe on the bench. Go on, Dave.
Just quickly, and I didn't really notice how many of that Gillingham team last night played against us a couple of weeks back.
Oh, that's a good question.
They made 10
changes.
I know they made 10 changes from Saturday. Okay, so you got
around that,
roughly the same.
Quite a bit of rotation.
They were crap.
Yeah, second string Gillingham versus second string Ipswich is not really a fair fight, is it? Just the 9 changes for Paul Lambert or Stuart Taylor. Wilson and Wolfenden are the only two who retain their place in the team. Norris comes in goal. It's Nsiala who slots in instead of Chambers and is also captain Nsiala. Kenlock, Dynasty, no surprise is that they come in for the wide midfield wing back situation. Ilmazuni and Hughes are in central midfield with Danny Rowe, I think, just behind the strikers, and Keane and Roberts up front. On the bench, one of Luke Chambers' what's the word I'm looking for? One of the kids who lives in Chambers' house. What's the word I'm looking for? Tenant. Brett McGavin's on the bench, along with a couple of other youngsters, including Tommy Hughes. Are we going with Tommy Hughes or is it Thomas, Joe?
Either's fine. We'll
ask his parents. That'll be fine. Dobber is on the bench. I think, Joe, you were probably looking for him to start, perhaps, but it's the second half cameo for him.
I can see why he did it when you see the bodies there, but it's great that he got on at half time.
I can't say why, because Stat would kill me. He would officially kill me, but he was extremely disappointed that Corrie and Dabba didn't get a game last night. Do you know why? I'm not going to elaborate on it. I mustn't, because he will come and kill me. But okay, you don't. He's holding it back. He's got a draft tweet.
I thought that's what it was about.
Ready to go. It's ready to go.
Well, so just pausing on that. So
I know, but I cannot divulge.
We talked about the under-23s.
He must be injured in Derby because he wasn't on the bench and he wasn't in the under-23s game today. So
Stat was mortified.
He can't be fit. And our Midlands correspondent had given us a nod that Dove would be starting.
I'd heard some stuff, but it was maybe a bit It was a day or so old, maybe, information, but the rest of
I wouldn't surprise if he picked up an injury between when that little birdie flew in your ear and told you that message and the game, because the fact he wasn't part of the game last night and part of the game today, there's no reason for that, unless he's gone and joined up with Ireland under 21s that we weren't aware of, or he's injured. But there's no way he wouldn't have been involved in either game.
You're not aware of any loan move there, Joe, either? Maybe.
No, not at the moment.
Okay, let's get into the action, shall we? And I mean, I've not got a huge amount of commentary in the first half, apart from the goals. Let's do it on my Skype call order. Dave, you are above Joe, so let's start with you. And this good work down the right between Danasi and Ilmazuni gets involved. Lovely little turn, and then what happens next?
Ilmazuni does really well. Ilmazuni's a very deceptive young player, because he doesn't look at. I mean, he looks like quite lean and he's deceptively strong, very quick feet, did really well. I think it was a good bit of play between him and Danasian. Ball seemed to get, I don't know if Joe saw this, ball seemed to get like stuck in the sort of wide right for a bit, and then Ilmazuni showed great feet, just came away from the ball. I think it was him that laid it square to Hughes. I think he got his head up and laid it square, so great. Hughes, I think, just took a touch, hit it low. It seemed at first to be, that's one of those, sort of crept in, but in deference to Hughes, I think he did hit it quite well. It's pretty much right in the corner, I think. And I believe, whether the keeper was unsighted or not, but I couldn't really see he made much effort to get down to it, did he?
Maybe a little bit unexpected, perhaps, from the
good strike,
range,
great for Hughes, who just basically strolled through the game. Really, he was just on a different level when he was on the ball and stuff.
Did it dip and bounce off the pitch, or was there a slight deflection in there?
Yeah, maybe it did.
He just hits it along the ground, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'd have said, looking at it from my angle, it would seem like a soft one. He thought, this sort of crept in, but yeah, one of those. But obviously hit it quite well in the corner. I think maybe the keeper slightly unsighted. I don't know. Good strike, good play from Ilmazuni, though, who I thought was probably our standout player of the night, probably.
Well, he's involved in number 2, Joe, and that's the next bit of action I've got listed down here as well. There's a shot, I think, deflected back, or it ricochets around, and the replay doesn't really. You can't really see what happened in the replay, so you'll have to tell us about it.
Miss it. It's a long ball up to sort of from Norris, and Keane gets up and does a lovely little chest down, and I think it's either to Roberts, but sort of between Roberts, Rowe and Ilmazuni, they work the ball really nicely, a little bit of one-touch play. Ilmazuni is in sort of 25-30 yards and hits a shot. It doesn't catch it that well, takes a big deflection, and at first deflection almost makes it look like it's going to wrong foot the keeper, but it doesn't. It just sits up to Roberts, who just smashes it left-footed, sort of outside of his boot. Absolutely hammers it past the keeper. Really good finish. You'd have expected him to score it from how it's set up. He takes it really early and just hammers it home, really.
Yep. And what kind of game had he had up to that point? Because the next bit of action I've got is him going down with an injury and needing treatment. Did he have a good? Because one of the questions is about him as well. So let's talk about it as an option. But
I thought he did okay, Joe. And I thought he did okay. I quite like him. He's neat and tidy. He hasn't got bad touch. Yeah. You say he's got perhaps the physical presence of maybe a Norwood, perhaps, or certainly a Keane, But I don't mind Roberts at that level. I'm sure he could come in and do some sort of job.
I don't think he's quite there for us in the first team, but I don't think he'd let you down if he played.
No, exactly.
He sort of puts himself about, gets on the ball and stuff. And in this competition, he's 3 goals in 2 games. Yeah. He's too good for that competition.
Yeah, and as I think, as we talked about, Joe, probably he's too good for a loan to the conference, the National League, which is all he could do at the moment. So,
well, it sounded like he was very close to going to Colchester just before the transfer deadline on loan, but we pulled the plug on it because I think Keane wasn't up to fitness, and we needed him as an option.
In terms of match action for the first half, that's all I've got. I've kind of got Stuart Watson was one on Twitter saying it was a glorified training match. I've got a note here that 26 Woods is booked for. I think Hughes mugs him off. I think he knocks the ball past him and runs around him, and then Woods comes back and hacks him down. But it sounds like Hughes was kind of a level above last night, and you were getting some tactical advice from Mick Stockwell, weren't you, Joe?
Their forward was needlessly late on Enciala as well, wasn't he? He got a yellow for that. Just went right through him. On the edge of our box, which is quite actually funny to see. Not funny, just cleaned him out, and he picked up a yellow. It wasn't that sort of game, really. It was just two silly fouls, really.
It wasn't against Fleetwood. But go on, Joe.
Yeah, no, Mick Stockwell spoke to me. I spoke to Mick Stockwell at half time where we were, and he was just saying, you've just got to get Emir Hughes in the team. Even at 85%, he's the best. He said he's the best player at the club. He's the highest paid player at the club, and he is just streets ahead of everyone on the pitch, and you can see it. And the only way you're going to get him up to 100% is just to play him every week to get his confidence back in his knee, and you've just got to get him in the team. He said his brain is just so much sharper. I think he was just telling me that as a story to link into the fact that he went to Colchester when he was 38 years old and scored 16 goals in his first season because his brain was so much sharper than everyone else.
He's getting there.
Good for him.
Get in there. I bet he didn't tell you about that right angle he put in that kitchen yesterday, did he?
No. He had a pencil behind his ear still, so that's...
I'll give you a quote, so...
Oh, no. I've got to get that laminate in
Sorry, Joe knows about this. What am I saying? Sorry, Joe.
Yeah. Who does your kitchens? So there's a double change at the break. You're saying Danassian's illness related, is it, Joe?
Apparently so,
okay. And
he did okay. He did okay down that right side. Good touch, Danassian. He's all right.
We think he's dependable, but he's certainly not a first choice.
He's not a Kane Vincent. No,
it's just not very good going forwards, and his passing isn't very progressive, and he struggles on the ball when he's in tight spaces.
I just think back to that Brentford game, though. Do you remember the Brentford home game where he was marauding up the pitch and crossing it in? And I just seem to think it's a bit weird that he's regressed so much that he's forgotten how to do that, and he's liberated a little bit. But
last night is perhaps you tend to forget last night. The standard of opposition to be true. I thought he did really well last night, but put it into context.
And you guys will have to help me out here. I don't know whether there's a formation change to accommodate Dobra, and I think Edwards is a swap for Danassian. Dobra comes on for Roberts, is it?
Straight swap. Yeah, Dobra does play up front with Roberts.
So there's a couple of bits of action here straight away for Dobra. He gets involved with Danny Rowe as a shot saved at the near post, I think. I don't know how close that was. A few minutes later, again, Dobra's involved. And it's a cutback to Ilmazuni, who I think gets into the box and tries to get a shot off, but it's deflected over the top for a corner. And then Dave, we're at 62 minutes, and we've talked about Ilmazuni quite a lot. It's a brilliant set piece, isn't it?
It's a good corner. Because some of his corners weren't great last night. He was sort of drifting them high or just not quite getting them right. But that one he got right. And initially, again, I was perhaps unsighted. I was sort of almost just at a slight angle to that. I think they gave the goal to Danny Rowe, didn't they? And they did in the ground.
Oh, it was Mandron own goal.
I think it was an OG, wasn't it? Yeah. No, it's a good ball. Put him, good bit of pace. Yeah, confident boy. He's not. He doesn't shy away from his set plays or anything like that. Real confident boy. I mean, again, another player who, as a squad player, they have no qualms if he comes in, in a League One game off the bench or even injuries, he gets a start. No qualms about him at all. Good player.
And that's another assist from a corner for him as well. Obviously, notably the Chambers goal.
Again, Joe, you must have seen him come through from 8, well, even younger,
But he came across at 16.
16, yeah.
Because he's French. He came across. Didn't do sort of first year was sort of playing about sort of wherever he could fit in to get a game, right back, centre midfield, just sort of anywhere just to play him. And then he came back at the start of the second year and just looked sort of a beast of a player. Just ran the show, and just when he was playing in the Youth Cup games for the under-18s last year, it was almost like a man sort of playing on the pitch and just sort of running around, almost like how he was for the first goal, where he's just keeping hold of the ball and just going back and forth waiting for it to open up. He was like that all the way through, but no, he really kicked on last year.
Yeah, it looks as though he's kicked on again. Yeah, I really like him.
Again, I've not got a huge amount of action to talk about, gents, so feel free to chip in if I've missed anything out. There's a long ranger from Gwion Edwards. I think he's popped up on the left-hand side for that.
I could hit that, yeah.
And 80 minutes I'm now at, and it's a substitution. It's Tommy Hughes for his debut. He comes on for Wilson. Again, a change of formation there, Joe. You said he was Wilson. Hughes went to midfield, did he?
Yeah, we just went 4 rather than 5 at the back, and he just stepped forward into the almost a diamond midfield with Idris and Emir Hughes.
And 87 minutes, Joe. Aforementioned Armando Dobra is involved again with the 4th goal. Talk us through it.
Does well, wins the ball, picks it up, drives forward, and sees Will Keane, who I think sort of he looked offside when I saw it, and on the replay still looked offside.
It's borderline, isn't it? VAR. I think he made,
but Keane just takes a touch, keeper comes out, and he just confidently tucks it past him. So
yeah,
offside or not, it was good to see Keane on the score sheet because he had had a quiet game in reality. And
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, it didn't sound like.
I thought the finish may be a lesson to our incumbent centre forward, perhaps.
Well, he didn't muck about, did he? And
no,
yeah, the keeper did come out a little
just
bit.
Shift it to one side.
Yeah,
just place it in the corner.
He said that there was an interview with him after the game, and he said, "I did think about dinking it and this, but then I thought this is my only chance I've had all game, so I just want to put it in." It's like, well,
what was the reason for?
You should try and put it in.
Well, exactly right. Put your laces through it. Any reason for him having a quiet one, Dave, from your perspective? Much service?
I don't. Yeah, maybe service as such. I don't know really. They have a couple of big centre backs. I don't know. He came into it a bit more second half. I thought, and there's one or two passages of players. Joe, I think for the second goal referred to, where he linked up pretty well. You can see he's an intelligent, he's an intelligent footballer. And again, good someone like that to get at least in a, I say competitive game, a semi-competitive game that he's getting, 90 minutes as did Emma Hughes under his belt, and a goal as with Hughes can't hurt. But certainly I know what Joe thought for the first half. Hughes just, I think I said he could have been smoking a bloody cigar. He was just getting the ball, dropping his shot. He's strong and I can see what Stockwell means. Yeah, I'd like to see him in the side. He's just got, he's strong. He's got a great eye for a ball. He's got an eye for goal. Clearly, gets up and down the pitch. He's not much you can criticise him for really, other than he's injury prone, of course.
Anyone else kind of leap out as possible first teamers anytime soon there? I mean, looking at Joe on Dobra and Ilmazuni, I mean, what's these bench players at best for us at the moment?
I think Dobra's such a live wire that you can put him on the bench because he just makes stuff happen, and I don't really see him starting many games in the league this year, just because I think we've got such options there. But as a sort of wild card to chuck on if you need something to happen in a game, he doesn't respect anyone's reputations. He just goes for him, and like I say, the two chances he picked up earlier, it's just like down in the corner flag, knocking the defender out of the way, getting round him, taking the time, having a look up, finding someone. He's a really good player, and sort of like as Dave was saying earlier, El Mazzuni just in midfield. I know he's with Emma Hughes in there, but those two just looked absolute head and shoulders above the sort of Gillingham team. They just ran the show, and he just seems so confident in everything he does that I don't know. It'd be nice
really impressive. Really, from what I've seen of him, he's a really impressive player. Bloody hell, and strong. Low centre of gravity, really strong. Obviously, upper body. Seldom gets knocked off the ball. And he must shine in the, in the age group. Surely, bloody hell.
He's a sort of really good presser of the ball as well. When you sort of see him when he's sort of playing in a more advanced role, he really gets about the defenders and the holding midfielders, getting the balls off him. And
where do you slot Dobra in the kind of 3-4-1-2 formation that we're trying at the moment, Joe? Or is it wait for a 4-3-3, 4-4-2 situation? Can he play that wing back role, or is he not disciplined enough for that?
No, he couldn't play that role. No, he's not really a wide player. He's more of a central player, but I think he sort of just ends up out wide. He probably would need to be the one in a 3-4-1-2, or just as a second striker. You can even play El Mazzuni as that one. I
was going to say, is that one you put in there?
It's similar to John Nolan, how he plays, where he's not a sort of number 10. He's sort of an 8 that gets around the pitch, but has that instinct to get in the box when he needs to.
Almost got an embarrassment of riches, guys.
Oh,
embarrassment. What on the debit side though, Joe? I don't know what you thought, but Toto weren't the sharpest. But mind you, he never looks at those that he's sharpest, which is why I like him, because he's always likely to drop a bollock, isn't he? I like that. He keeps you on the edge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The one where he got clapped, that was, I think Norris sold him a little bit short on that pass, and he left the defender a chance to go in, and the striker, and he did go in. But yeah, Toto, I think he's going to have to go some to get in this team with the way the other defenders are playing.
Yep. Well, Wilson looked good Saturday again, and Wolfenden as well. So
surely they've got to get his contract sorted out, haven't they?
Wilson's played what they're saying 7 league games. We've won all 7 and kept 7 clean sheets.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Stats. Yeah. That's what you want.
Get him on. Get him on.
I know he played at Luton when we lost, but played again last night. So 9 games, 8 wins.
So we've got him till January. Is that right?
First of January.
Surely. Yeah.
Well, when I said I read in the program, there was an interview with him in the program a few weeks ago. I said this on there a couple of weeks ago, but basically he signed till January because he didn't want to tie himself up for a year, just play 2 or 3 games at the start of the season while we had injury covers, and then not play. So we need to keep playing him if we want to keep him effectively. So, but he's playing himself into the team, so I don't see any reason why he's going to leave come January, and I'm sure there'll be a new contract announced before then.
So Toto, is he going to deputise Accrington, because Wilson's obviously suspended for that? We found out that the suspension from the Fleetwood sending off doesn't apply for the EFL Trophy. Are you confident that Nsiala can come in? I think he was actually one of our better players at Accrington.
Play 4 at the back, don't you play 3 at the back, do you?
No, play 4 at the... Honestly, I mean, what I've seen, guys, I don't know about you, of League One so far. Some good, nice football played. On probably some of it on a par with the Championship up to the final third. It's just awful in the final third.
I think that's a factor in our clean sheets, isn't it?
Set plays are crap. Final ball, poor. Crossing, awful. Do
you think we've conceded, what is it, like 1 goal in 9 games? Is it? And the goal we've conceded was a long ball which Chambers makes an error in controlling. Scouse then dives in, misses it.
Wimbledon.
Tranmere.
I missed that game.
And then Garbutt doesn't really track his man, and then Holy just spills it. So the only way we can see
it hits the guy and goes in.
3 like absolute balls ups in a row.
It's us giving away goals rather than teams scoring and passes.
That's my take on it. In the final third, these teams are bloody awful.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you probably saw it Fleetwood. I mean, did they really create that? I mean, they had the one great chance. They didn't score that when the geezer heads it back. Was it Ched Evans? Just doesn't participate at all. He just watches it.
They didn't have a shot on target, did they?
Oh, it's just... Yeah, from what I've seen so far, Peter obviously put Peterborough to one side. They can obviously score goals, but on the other hand, concede goals for fun. But from what I've seen so far, it's just nothing.
Wickham are the other goal scorers, aren't they? Peterborough and Wickham.
And they've got bloody Addy Bayo, haven't they? Got Bayo up front.
Yep. 95-minute penalty.
Legend.
Yeah, that's what you want. So, Ipswich have qualified for the knockout phase, gents, of the Leasing.com Trophy.
Hey, sirrah.
Will Keane is keen that we take it seriously and go all the way. I assume you're in agreement. We're up for a double, yeah?
Well, I think so. Just you know what? Do you have to be a world of? I don't think. Do we have to look at a word of caution? But I was staggered to see that, and I really didn't appreciate this. That someone posted the weekend after the game that Portsmouth had exactly the same record as us this time last season: 1-8, drawn 3, and almost the same goals, 21 and 8 against, something like that. And perhaps, as they've said about Sunderland, all right, Portsmouth actually did win the EFL Trophy, perhaps, but going forward, being caught up in this, I didn't really notice whether either of them had particularly long FA Cup runs, but it was ultimately perhaps what cost one or certainly both of them, certainly both of them, promotion in the end. But, okay, Sunderland got to the final. It was a one-off game against Charlton, of course, But, there's an interesting slant on it. But looking at our squad, and even looking at the players that have got to come back into our squad, we're like eons ahead of everybody else, aren't we?
I think we just continue to treat the Leasing.com Trophy the way we've been treating it so far.
Under 20 reserve game,
make 9 or 10 changes and still win. If you get to like the semi-final and you're going away from Wembley, then you've got to take that seriously and you've got to try and get to Wembley. But at the moment, it's working very well. It's allowing us to get our whole squad up to match fitness. And like I say, you look at the players that came in last night: Norris, Keane, Hughes, Edwards to an extent, El Mazzuni, Rowe. All these players needed minutes, and they got minutes last night. And Kenlock, Donatian. I say, if we're going to be rotating our squad through, and if these are the ones where we make the big changes, then the longer we stay in this tournament, the better, as far as I'm concerned. As long as we're treated like that.
Yep. Rowe was very good. Rowe was very good second half last night, I thought.
Excellent.
I like Rowe. Do like Danny Rowe.
Wow, you've never mentioned it before, Dave. So
I know I haven't. I thought I had to come forward and mention it now. Get it off my chest.
Exactly right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for Danny Rowe then. Let's do some Twitter questions, and of course, as soon as I open the Twitter app, the questions tweet disappears. Here we go. So in my question tweet, I said Lambert reshuffles the pack as expected, but second string ITFC are still dominant. Michael Smith not Michael Smith, says, I disagree. Not a second string at all. Look at the bench we had last night, and the boy Hughes making his debut. This was a genuine mix of youth players and rehabilitation senior players. In this context, the performance is much more impressive. Do you agree? I'm still going to stick with my second string. It's no Holy, no Chambers, no Nolan, no Norwood, no Jackson.
But I suppose I see the point that he's trying to make is that Emir Hughes, Will Keane, these are players that, if everyone was fit, would be proper first teamers. So at the moment, it is a second string because they're not players that are starting regularly in the league. But I see the point he's trying to make that is not a reserve 11, is it?
And I guess the mix of youth players that he's talking about there, these are players who are high prospect players who could play a role in the league. Joe.
Well, I think Idris El Mazouni's and Armando Dobra are first teamers in reality now. I know they'll play for the under-23s, but they are part of the first team as far as I'm concerned.
A continuation of the similar theme about second string, which has obviously gone down particularly well with Twitter. Tim Donovan, Dave, says, would our second string team be good enough to compete for promotion from League One? We had a bit of a similar debate on the Blue Monday WhatsApp group, didn't we? Mikey wasn't so sure, and then we called out Keane and Hughes.
What the team who played last night?
Yeah.
I think they'd be competitive. Whether they'd be good enough for promotion or not, I'm not quite sure in certain positions, but I think they'd certainly be competitive. Yeah.
Top half. That was the debate we were having.
Yeah, I'd perhaps given that. I mean, it's difficult to say. Like Norris, we've seen Norris. I've only seen Norris in these two games so far. Spurs, okay, conceded one. Was he out really tested? Not really sure. Certainly not second half against Spurs. Last night he wasn't tested at all. I don't think he had a save to make, did he? So it's kind of difficult sometimes to assess that. But I think we'd be competitive up to a point in League One. Yeah, I don't think we'd quite be in the position we are now. But yeah.
Dan C, DC96, asks Joe, Keane looks like he's not far off full fitness. When is he? When is he? What is our best? When he is. Eyesight. What is our best front two pairing, or will Lambert keep rotating there?
Well, I think if he's back to full fitness, I think he's probably fairly. Well, I'd say he's our best striker. Will Keane is the way I saw him play last year, and when he was on form, I think I don't see Norwood or Jackson are better players than him. But I don't know what Lambert will do, because it's the case of Norwood and Jackson is working at this level, and Keane's got to play his way into that team. But I think if Keane gets in and starts 2 or 3 games in a row, I think Norwood and Jackson are going to find it very difficult to take him out of the team. I'd personally, difficult, but I'd probably say Keane and Jackson's our best pairing at the moment.
At the moment, I tell you what, when they're all fit, Keane and Freddie Sears, well, dynamite.
Oh yeah,
Keane and Freddie Sears is a championship quality strike force, isn't it?
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Ed Sheeran's mate. Yeah. Mikey Penty Smith does get a question in, Dave, and I think both of you are going to have to help me out. I don't know whether this is sarcastic or there is some hidden message in here that I'm not going to get, because a lot of stuff goes over my head on this pod. How much of a relief is it to have this international break now, what with Norwood, Kane Vincent-Young injured, and Downs and Judge amongst others absent? I mean, we've talked about this. No, am I missing something here, or is this a legit question? Mikey's going to be apoplectic, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's Mikey being legit. I think we've covered it, haven't we, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We refer you to the flagship and the midweek show earlier on, Mikey. Bloody hell.
When's his tweet? I demand an answer.
Yeah, you missed out my excellent question. Also, a person who made his pod debut on the weekend, Seb Brown, asks a question, because I'm just going to lob on Blue Monday people just for the fun of it. But it's an interesting thought. If someone offered us 500k for Judge in January, Joe, I want to keep the alliteration of the J's there. Would you take it, given the likes of Nolan, Rowe, Bishop and possibly Hughes can play the number 10 role? I'll add in El Mazouni as well, with more discipline.
I don't see the point in taking it. It wouldn't be reinvested into the side, would it? I don't think. If Evans wants the money, he'll accept the bid. But as a fan, I don't see the point in selling a player that is going to contribute at some point this season once he gets going.
Joe, I agree. I think he's too good a player not to, at some point, really click, and we'll see the best of him, I think.
Yep. I think we can all agree on that one. And Dommy Boy 79 also chipped in with that. He says, I like Judge, but I think the others have offered us more from what I've seen. Maybe best is to come, though. So there you go. Dommy Boy agrees with you, Dave. Also, for you, Dave, Dennis Sullivan, our mate Sully.
Hey, Dennis.
Assuming we get promoted. I love these. Assuming if, when we get promoted. Which players should stay in League One? Assuming, again, that we would look to sign players. Which of your... Who are you jettisoning of this successful promotion-winning team?
Hell.
Hypothetical.
Okay, so you've really got to look another season on. Say we get promoted to the Championship, you've got to be looking, sadly, and I know I've said it before, probably Chambers wouldn't probably make the step up to the Championship at his age. You know, doing a great job at the moment, but I can't see that.
Give him a coaching job.
Has he got another season of Championship left in him? Ooh, I don't know.
Give him a coaching job as well. Yeah,
you're looking at those. Initially, for me, you're looking at those two. The rest, as it stands now, well, just go through the team. I'd love to sign Garbutt. He can make the jump. Obviously, Kane Vincent Young can. I'm sure Wolfenden can.
Wilson?
From what I've seen so far, no reason not to think he could, out and out stop a centre half. Well, obviously he doesn't like conceding goals.
Your top choice strike partnership was Keenan Sears. Would it be the same in the Championship?
Yeah, I think it probably would. Yeah, you only got to look. Norwood obviously is an unknown quantity at that level. Jackson didn't exactly set the world alight, did he?
Mm. Well, maybe a year of confidence building in League One might be all doing the world of good.
Absolutely.
And he did score goals in the Championship, albeit not too many of them. But he did take his chances when he got them.
I guess so.
Joe, anyone to add in? Let's flip it around and make it a positive question. Who are you taking with you to the Championship if promotion was to happen?
I don't really see that any of the squad is going to struggle in the Championship at the moment. And when we go up, it's to be it depends. We're not going to be going up and aiming for the top 6, are we? In reality, we're going to be going up and
survival.
looking to sort of be solid in the Championship and sort of try and push on from there. And I think, Dave says Chambers and Scouse, but I think it's just their age, which is just going to be. We'll want to be sort of phasing them out of the team, but I think you'd keep them around the squad next year.
I know you keep them around the squad, but yes, for sort of playing.
I think Norwood and Jackson would be my big concern if you're going up with those two as your front two. That, like I say, the amount of, I don't want to sort of jump on Norwood because he's been a good signing, but he scored 5 goals, two of which were penalties in 11 games, and he's
nothing for a while though.
And he's missed a huge amount of chances. You're not going to get that many chances in the league above, and if you don't take those chances, is he a streaky player? I don't know. He's not been here long enough to know, but I think him and Jackson would be the two I'd be most concerned about, because scoring goals is the name of the game, and that is the hardest thing to do. And in the Championship, it's even harder.
Yeah, as we found out to our cost last season.
Well,
right?
Like I say, we signed Ellis Harrison, we signed Caden Jackson, and they didn't score goals, did they? These players stepping up from the lower leagues did not score goals up in that league, and you need some proven quality at that end of the pitch.
Yep. FPL Tractor asks, I feel like Emir Hughes should be in our best team. Him and Mick Stockwell. Joe, but can't work out how. Is this how the panel feels? So if he's going in midfield, we're taking someone out. So who are we taking out? Are we taking out Scouse, Downs, or Nolan at the moment?
I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd go 4 at the back. So Vincent Young, Garbutt, probably Chambers and Wolfenden I'd go with at the moment as the back 4. Cole Scouse sitting in front. Emir Hughes and Flynn Downs in front of them, and John Nolan.
Diamond.
Diamond, or 4-1-3-2, whatever you want to call it. But Hughes on the left-hand side, Downs on the right-hand side, just covering all the ground. Scouse sitting there, and Nolan trying to pop up and get involved with the front 2.
Joe, Dave? Yeah.
I think you're right. I think, and just switching it a bit, I think, Hughes had always been a fully fit Hughes. I agree with obviously Mick Stockwell. But, it'd be in my side. Right, good player, great player. And Nolan, I think we're going to now hopefully see the best of Nolan. Hopefully he'll nail down that sort of role. That
he was
more advanced
excellent at Fleetwood.
Yeah, with my Jordan went. He said he was just different class second half.
Yep. So
you like to think he can nail down that position, and then we shall see. But Hughes would always being
Well,
my
if you have Scoos sitting there with Hughes, Nolan, and Downs, no team in the league is going to be able to live with that.
Pass.
Well, also, I mean, there are going to be injuries at some point, right, as well. So there's an element of Hughes maybe biding his time and an injury to midfielder, and he gets in by default, doesn't he? But Mickey Stockwell says, do what Mickey Stockwell says. Jack Slarder, Dave, we've talked to him a little bit. Toto, how was he for you? We've kind of talked to this one, haven't we?
Bit rusty still, I'd say. Old Totes last night still a little bit rusty, but as I said before, that's kind of how he plays. He's one of these players that he's a sort of modern version of old Manu Petit a bit really. Sometimes he comes away with the ball. Has he really got the ball under control? Has he really got this situation under? Oh, okay, yeah. You know, he keeps you on the edge, which. Yeah, like I said, it gives it. It certainly makes it exciting sometimes watching him play. But yeah, he's still a bit rusty for me. I just think
if I was an opposition striker, I'd always think he's got a rick in him, hasn't he?
Is he one of those ones that I'll do it on the night? You know, this is like the leasing.com. I'd have to worry.
But he's the one, along with Norwood in our team, who ultimately could be a terrorist legend, couldn't he? He's just got that persona about him and everything. Yeah, just people love him, don't they? And he comes across and social and stuff like that as a really, really nice, guy as well.
Exactly right. I'll come back to you on this one as well, then, Dave. AWITFC. As we won convincingly last night. Do you think we learned any lessons from our defeat to Luton? Obviously, they were a different calibre of team, but it was good to see second stringers. Thank you very much. Playing as a team and getting a good result. Any thoughts
I don't think there's any correlation between those two games at all. Really, was it? I mean, Luton were. What was it? Was the second game of the season? Was it second game 2, game like 3? I can't remember, 2 or 3. And Luton had a half decent start to the season as well, so they were on a high anyway. I don't think you can make any comparison between the two really. It's just nice to win cup games if you can call. Yeah.
And don't let that stop you putting in questions. AWITFC. Sometimes we'll give you a
sorry. Oh yeah, sorry.
The answer is no. I mean, it's rubbish, but no.
I'll tell you what, I was talking about cup games just quickly. I don't know if you could get onto this. Did you see someone tweeted the current teams that are left in FA Cup qualifying and so who we ultimately could be drawn against in the first round?
Tiptree versus
God,
Town.
There was an absolute corkers in St Neots Town, or I don't know, there was some absolute belters in there.
Well, it's Royston against Malden and Tiptree, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
One of those is going to be in the first round.
Is it regional? Or is it?
No,
you could go anywhere.
I think it might be in the qualifying rounds, but not once it gets to the first round. I hope that priority for Malden and Tiptree away will be people that went to watch
Southend
pre-season under 23s friendly there this year.
You're nailed on for a ticket, Joe. Yeah.
Joe, I think we've talked about this one a little bit, but feel free to add anything in if you want. When will we see Dobra get a proper regular shot at the first team? I know he's a young guy, but he's absolute class. Offers way more than Judd, surely. How do you fit them all in? Anything to add on here? You mentioned
it's going to be cups for him at the moment, isn't it? It's going to be cups and keep doing what he's doing, and he's going to sort of make his impact.
Actually, what will be interesting to see how Lambert approaches the FA Cup. Actually, first round that will be quite.
I think it's going to be as a League Cup and the Leasing.com. It's going to be.
Similar to last night. Maybe
such a big squad. You're going to need to make those 8-9 changes. Just give everyone a game, aren't you?
Do we care if we go out?
Not even against Malden and Tiptree.
If you draw a League One team,
drew 0-0 with them, and
do we care about going out in the first round of the FA Cup though? If we draw a League One team,
of course we do.
I games. I hate losing cup games. It pisses me off how bad our FA Cup.
Let's for once at least let's win a couple and get to the third round. Get to the third round and bloody draw Norwich at home or something.
The whole bloody thing.
Let's go to Wembley 2 times. No. We'll come back to cups. I've got something in mind for you. Arthur Pickthorne asks about Hughes. I think we've done that one. Benjamin Aurier, which player from the under-23s would you say is close to the first team? Anyone that we didn't see last night, Joe, that you want to tell us about? Tommy Hughes, obviously we know, but are we aware of all of the kind of key hitters at the moment?
Because you see the players that have been involved earlier this season, Bailey Clements.
Anything on Brett McGavin?
Not really. I think he's sort of drifted behind players like El Mazouni and in a pecking order, to be honest, and he sort of needs to go out on loan somewhere and play some games because he's got to an age where he needs some men's football.
I mean, we were thinking last night, for me, El Mazzuni now can't be that far behind Dazelle, is he?
Might even be ahead of him.
That's a turnaround, isn't it? Adam Williams, I think we've dealt with this as well, Dave, but anything to add? How much appetite is there amongst fans to make a serious push at winning the Leasing Trophy? He covered the final. I think he works Radio Berkshire.
Oh, yeah, he did. I saw that.
Between Pompey and Sunderland. A great game, a great occasion. And then I saw how it ultimately ruined both clubs' promotion chances soon after. So Adam is calling us out. We've nothing else really to add there. I think we've just agreed with him, haven't we?
No, absolutely, Joe, and it's spot on. I think, just treat it as great, good, competitive matches for the fringe players as such.
Correlation, causation. That's what I'd say on it. I've run to the 5th round of the FA Cup in 1992 away at Liverpool. That didn't curtail our promotion run that season, and a good cup run is just used as an excuse when it's a bad league run. But winning games is what players want to do, and they want the big occasions. They want to win games, and we've got a big enough squad to handle all these competitions.
Yeah.
Confident talk.
Love it. Ian McIntyre asks about Kane Vincent-Young. We've dealt with his injury, hopefully back for Accrington, but we'll see next week. Harry Butcher, just loving life, guys. Just get out. Supporting Ipswich is great for him at the moment. Good for you, Harry. David Strang. Dave, let me come to you this. Given how uncomfortable Hughes looked trying to dance like Bez in his goal video, this is the GIF on Twitter. Do you think it's unfair for the club to force players into things like this? Maybe the departure of Grant Pringle will see something else replace it.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. I mean, I think Mikey said it the other day. We were watching David James, not together, obviously. So watching David James dance on Strictly Come Dancing. It's just uncomfortable.
4 out of 10. Well, maybe they need to find something. I don't know what Hughes likes to do. Maybe they need to embrace their hobbies, perhaps. I don't know. The ladies team, I think Amanda Crump in the ITFC women is doing a little golf shot. She's got a golf club.
We love the golf.
Need to see people on a potter's wheel or something, or doing a little bit of painting or something. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a little bit of
just as long as there's no sheep involved in Emmy Hughes.
There's your racist. Joe, Andy Grimes, is Jordan Roberts being unfairly overlooked for first team action? We have talked about this. He mentions again the no striking options on the bench against Fleetwood. Proved he can score goals in a front two in the EFL Tin Pot Trophy. Jordan Roberts best bench option at best, right? Until some of these.
I think he should have been on the bench at Fleetwood. I don't really see why you've got 7 players on the bench and you've got effectively 6 midfielders. You need a strike on the bench, and Jordan Roberts is good enough to be a strike on the bench if Keane's injured, as he was, and you're playing 2 up front, because otherwise you make a change up front and you have to change formation. So I think he's unfairly overlooked there.
Final question is, Dylan, could Toto become a club legend? I think we agree there, Dave, on that one, don't we?
He's that sort of player. As Betty did, didn't he? Certainly did. Yeah.
He needs to score an overhead kick. And he asks another angle on this Dobra Ilmazuni thing. I'll come to both of you on this one. I'll start with you, Dave. Who will play at the highest level, Dobra or Ilmazuni?
Wow.
And will it be with Ipswich?
Different, very, very good question. I mean, you can see them at the moment, very, very early days, of course, but both those two look like they've got the capability to play at a higher level in the future. So, but which one?
I think El Mazzuni's physicality is going to give him such an advantage in it. He has got that size as well as pace and gets around the pitch where Dobra is always going to be
all-round.
Small.
Yeah, perhaps a more all-round player, certainly at this moment in time.
And he can play as a deep midfielder, getting forwards. Number 8 has played out wide for the first
as
team.
well.
I think he will. He's got more strings to his bow, but I preferred watching Dobra personally. But he's got more strings to his bow, which will probably allow him to push on a bit further.
But you know what? It's great. It's great that we're even mentioning these two in those sort of terms, isn't it?
After a bit of a quiet period, the last few seasons.
Brilliant.
It's,
absolutely fantastic.
Good stuff. I'll end with this one from Matthew Noble. I've been tweeting this throughout the week. Your ITFC dinner party guests of choice, gentlemen. Anyone that you want to add into the mix that maybe you haven't seen so far?
Okay, I haven't done my five. Can I do my five? I think obviously me, I do hark back to days of glory and stuff like that. I think we've got to sort of stay. So I'll go for someone. You need someone from the 61, 62. So I assume we're talking about people that could actually be there, sort of living people, are we?
You can have whatever you want, Dave.
Okay, so if we had Sim, so I think Ray Crawford, who I've met before. Don't know if you have, Joe. I met him at a couple of the players' dinners. He's what a bloody legend. We'll talk football with you. We'll talk about anything with you forever. Absolutely brilliant. And obviously it reflect back on the days under South. Colin Viljoen I'd quite like, just to tap into, what happened, that cup final, player power type thing. And obviously for me, Russell Osman, I'd sit next to him and he could talk me through every one of the 66 games in 80, 81, of course. And it's pretty selfish because some of my favourite players, Jono, David Johnson the second, Jono, I've met him a couple of times, top bloke, cracking, funny as you like, brilliant bloke. And probably my all-time favourite player in recent years, Pablo. Perfect for me.
What you having? Paella with Pablo?
Probably. What the heck? Doesn't really matter.
I've forgotten that I've stumbled into Team Jono, haven't I? I've got.
Oh yeah.
Two pods in a row.
I'd have had Jono on mine, but mine are sort of more recent. I think Jim Agilton, just because.
Yeah, great shout.
If things need clearing out, he could just start a fight in the empty room just to sort of clear it out at the end of the night. But he can talk, and he's got some great stories as well. Jim, Jono.
Just someone else quickly. If I could name a sub, Ian Marshall told one of the funniest stories I've ever heard at one of these Meet the Player events at the Dove. He told probably, if not one of the funniest, the funniest football story I've ever heard. So he's hilarious. Although it wouldn't have to have any women, any ladies present there because he's got a bit of a potty mouth. But anyway, it'd be great. Yeah.
Anyone else, Jay?
Chris Kawamya, nice guy, and sort of one of my early heroes. Johnny Walk is always seems to be friends with every player from every generation. Maybe Terry Butcher as well. Just
nice.
Get solid.
Bit of 1990 World Cup stories, that'd be good as well. What you eating, Joe? Steak? Chicken with
it would be an
potato
steak because Butcher would chuck it out the window if it was.
Good stuff.
Thick cut chip. I'd tell you that line up. Joe's got steak and thick cut chips written all over it.
Absolutely right.
Chunky onion rings.
Yeah, and English mustard on top. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Excellent stuff. Play your stats right, gentlemen. And we have. I've got one for you. And to be fair, I'm already worried that Joe Fairs is going to absolutely destroy this again.
No, it's one for Joe.
What round of the FA Cup have we got to, higher or lower, for the last 10 seasons?
It is, but it's not the last 10 seasons. It's starting in the 90s. I'm doing the 90s. I thought I would go back to a point where we used to get out of the third round, although there are some third round exits here. So starting in 1991... where we went out in the third round to Southampton, and I'll give bonus points if you can name the team who knocked us out. Joe, you've already mentioned this one, so this will be nice and easy. Higher or lower than third in the 91-92 season?
Well, Liverpool 91-92. Is that the fifth round?
Fifth round. My first game was the home tie, the first round. First game, 92-93. Higher or lower than the fifth round?
Oh, that's got to be lower. I mean, we had a good season, didn't we? But that's got to be lower than the fifth round. Surely,
92-93, so that's our first season in the Prem.
Have we played Arsenal?
Hang on.
Sixth round in that season.
Arsenal in the sixth round, didn't we?
Gentlemen, you're bang on. Higher, sixth.
High, I'll go sixth round.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely bang on. 93-94. Higher or lower than the sixth round? Noticing the sixth round, following round to the semi-final.
Yeah.
So that's a gimme. So that's fifth. Can anyone tell me who knocked us out?
What, the fifth round?
Yeah, the first game was a replay, and the first game was one of the main games on Match of the Day. If that helps.
Villa.
It was Wolves.
Lost 2-1 at home.
Yep. Yeah. Johnny Walk scored
quite
a good goal in that game.
They were in Division 2 at the time, or Division 1 at the time.
I think they were league below us. 94-95. Higher or lower than fifth round?
We lost at. I believe we lost at Wrexham, didn't we?
Which round?
Third.
Yeah, good shout. 95-96, higher or lower than the third round? Or the same?
95-96. Whose goes? It me? Who's the?
You
doesn't
can.
know-
I'm.
95-96.
Crowdsourcing.
I think we lost again, either in the 5th or 6th round at home to Villa.
So higher than third round, you're correct. It is Aston Villa. It is the 5th round. Excellent stuff. 96-97. So we are, higher or lower than the 5th round.
We lost to Wolves around again, didn't we, in one of these years? Or
Not that I can see, Joe.
no, 96, 90. I'd say lower. I'd say third or fourth rounds.
Dave, any?
Yeah, I think I'd go with that. Yeah.
So that was the. So it's lower. It's third round, and it's Nottingham Forest away.
Oh, 3-0. Oof.
We got absolutely spanked, didn't we? That was when
One
Van
of Dyer's,
Hooydonk was
one
there.
of Dyer's first games, I think.
Then 97-98, higher or lower than the third round, all the same.
Fourth round.
Dave?
97-98. Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah, round about there.
Fourth round is we went out to Sheffield United on a replay. 98-99, higher, lower, or the same than fourth round.
98-99.
This one was unlucky, I think. There was a bit of controversy, I think, in this match.
I'd say lower than third.
Joe?
Yeah, I can't think.
It's the same. It's Everton away, I think.
Oh, Marco Materazzi. And we had a goal disallowed injury time.
Yeah, an offside, a spurious offside decision, I think, cost us a replay against Everton. And Joe, this should be an absolute gimme for you. Let's see how good your memory is. 99-2000, higher or lower than fourth round. It's a nice symmetrical end to the round, actually, if you remember 90-91.
Oh, lose to Southampton. Was that on a Monday night, was it?
It was.
Lost one. No, it was in November.
Lost 1-0.
It was prior to Christmas. The third round of the Cup was prior to Christmas, wasn't it?
Because Man United were going away to that
World Club Championship.
Cup, early and we lost. I think that was on the telly and we lost 1-0. And
what's his face?
The late Dean Richards.
Dean Richards, the late Dean
R.I.P. Yeah. And Dave Jones was on the bench and had just been cleared, I think, of some off-field misdemeanors.
Skullduggery.
Yeah. Well, no skullduggery, because I think he was...
No skullduggery at all. What I'm talking about.
Legally.
Yeah. Alleged misdemeanors.
No, but also with that Dave Jones as well, I think his... When you read the summing up of that case, it's sort of said how it was just like the biggest absolute load of rubbish ever. How it got that far is beyond the judge's sort of understanding, and it should never have done. But even now, his name is still tarnished by it. But he wrote a book to try and explain this, and sort of included the judge's verdict on it. So that's a shame for Dave. On a serious note, there.
Let's spin it around and try and end on a positive, eh? That is it, gents. I'm going to do some plugs. I've enjoyed that. I thought that was great fun. Hopefully not too dull for anyone. So this week in ICFC history, still available. A great show that was. That was a 1 hour 45-minute epic.
It's an epic. We just got totally.
You guys don't stop.
Off for so long. We just got
extra time.
Totally carried away with it. So it was good actually. And I think the plan is to do potentially another one next week where there's no midweek game or international break. So could be one next week. Don't hold your breath, but watch this space.
Give us some 90s. That's my request.
I know,
90s. Yeah. That's my request. You can. The flagship will be back. I think Ben and Joe, I think, is at the moment the combo. I'm making myself unavailable because I'm just become an uncle, so I'm off to see my little niece and try and make her an Ipswich Town fan, because half the family is Ipswich, half the family's Cole U, so I need to get in there early with the ITFC merch, so I'm off back home. So weekend off for Ipswich, but no weekend off for Joe. He's back with Ben, I think, for probably a little bit of a season so far, post-bag type situation, so no doubt Twitter will divulge what the plan is there. And you can find our channel, you can find us on Twitter at Blue Monday ITFC. Go looking for Benjamin Bloom on YouTube and you'll find his stuff and our stuff. Dave, what is your Twitter?
At David Diamond 3.
Joe, what's your Twitter and the Academy Twitter?
At Joe Fairs and at ITFC_Academy.
Any Academy action for you this weekend?
I don't know if I can make it, but they are playing Colchester at home. The under-18s playing Colchester at home Saturday morning, 11 a.m. kickoff.
Excellent. Is that at Playford Road? Is that
at Playford Road? Yeah.
And go down there if you're looking for a fix.
A windy Playford Road. It's always windy.
Yeah, it didn't used to be. But they had massive trees at the rugby side pitch, and they cut it down, and it's like, this wasn't the best idea. The 80-foot trees that have taken 40 years to grow. Now it's really windy.
Screw you, nature. Gentlemen,
I think it was a requirement for some timber to repair the turnstiles. I think that's perhaps what it was. There was a bit of recycling.
A few benches, yeah. Love that, gents. I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for everyone for your questions. Who wants the last word? Dave, you have the last word.
I've got last word. I've really got nothing to say. I would say, Mike, you be careful what you. After seeing that Portsmouth stat last week, don't count your chickens.